How do we determine who puts how much in that account?
I feel like what's really equal is just like really looking at, like, you either do a percentage, because we've talked about two different aspects. We either do a percentage, like we do a set percentage that's going to come out of your, income for that month, and it's going to come out of mine, even if it's different, amounts, lower, higher.
Right.
Is it set 3%, whatever that's going to go in, and that covers everything.
Right.
Or it's like, okay, you carry these major bills, and I carry these, and then that's it. So you put what you need to put in for these little bills, and I put in for my major stuff, and everything's going to come out of there. Either way, it's going to get taken care of. But
what's going on, everyone? Welcome to another episode of the Students Life Podcast, where learning and unlearning has no limits. I am your host, Shan, and this is my co-host,
Stretch.
And today we have these lovely ladies with us, Janae and Brianna, and we are tapping into the marriage life. Both of these lovely ladies have been in successful, healthy marriages, and they're going to give us a little insight today. So excited!
Yeah.
Yes. So, we want to first start off with just how was marriage life something that you guys wanted to be in? Was that like the goal for you guys?
you want me to go first?
Oh yeah, you can go first.
Sure. No.
Okay.
It was not. I was not one of those girls that, had a dream book and it was like, oh, I want to be married. I want to do this. I want, these characteristics in a man, or I want kids. And I was not that girl. I was a tomboy. I was just kind of like wild and free and wished I grew up in the 70s because I just wanted to just enjoy life. But, you tell God your plans and he's going to laugh, right? Yeah. So my husband popped up. He popped up. And here we are, going on 8 years later. So, no, to answer your question directly, no, it was not my first thought.
Wow.
But it was the best decision I ever made. So I definitely don't regret or anything like that. Absolutely not. But I was not one of those girls. Because, it's women who are like, that's their aspiration.
Yeah.
They feel that clock ticking for kids. They feel like, oh my gosh, I'm about to be, I need to get married. I never felt that. Never had that thought, never felt that. It was just like, I'm out here living
So
good.
it just naturally happened. And let me say this. I've actually had the opportunity to be around you and your husband, and the vibe is just like, it just flows. It's like you guys are literally one, and I love that. Love
that's
that.
my bestie. That's my bestie, and it's like, like you fall out with your best friend, and then it's just like, you still like what you want, what you want to drink, like it don't matter.
I'm gonna still take care of you regardless.
Still take care of you regardless.
Yes.
Like hand you, like I don't even got nothing to say. Here, take it. I already know you want it.
Yeah,
type. So it's a beautiful thing once you get past all the BS.
Love that. What about you, Brie?
For me, it wasn't really an aspiration either. Mine was more. Most girls had like the dream wedding they wanted. I just had dream house because I'm a realtor daughter. So I just wanted a home. I didn't care if it was with me, if it was a group, but for me, my husband kind of popped out of nowhere. And I was like, okay, we're doing this. And then, it was like a thing where I did want to be married, like eventually, but it wasn't like on any kind of time schedule. When I was younger, I'm like, when I'm 25, super old, maybe I'll be married. Or like with 3 kids, I didn't know 25 was like 10. So
you think you know so much and you don't.
You really don't, yeah.
So what was the period like from meeting the person to them proposing? How long was that period of time?
For me, we met in 2011 and then he proposed in 2017.
So that was
So 6 years.
6 years. 6 years.
Yeah, which was good for us because we were younger. And so it was a lot of time of getting to learn each other and getting to learn ourselves. And so kind of going through that transition was, I feel like, more beneficial than like getting married like right out the gate, like when we were like 21 or something.
Okay. What about you, John?
So I met my husband, and just, sidebar, funny story. When I met him, we worked together, and one of the first few phrases that this man ever said to me was, "You were meant for me." And I literally was just like, bye-bye. And you know, 8 years later, here I am. So apparently, you know, his caveman tactic worked. But that was in 2009 when I first met him. We didn't start dating until 2010, which was great. And I tell everyone to do that. You need to be friends. And then he proposed in 2013.
So 3 years.
Yes.
Nice.
Okay. That's romantic. He knew since the first day he saw you, right?
I guess so, because like I said, that phrase was so like crazy. Say to someone, I always say he's like a caveman because it was like you for me. It's like, what do you mean? I'm for you.
He marked his territory
early. Like he like said it in passing. Like he walked past me, staring at me. It was like you for me. It was like, oh, who is that? I don't even know who that is.
I love that.
Yeah, our story goes really deep, way deeper than that. But yeah, that's a major pillar in the beginning.
I said that on the last episode where we was talking about as soon as a guy sees you, he knows.
Yeah.
A woman would take a little longer to recognize like the red flags or the good stuff, but most men, like, we know this is the type of woman we want to spend the rest of our lives with. So I mean, that proves my point a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't 100% agree with that, because I hear people say that all the time, that men know. I don't think they know. I think you have to present them with something different than their norm. And I presented my spouse with something different than his norm.
And he recognized that by you doing that. He recognized that.
The difference from his norm was a challenge. You know, it was not an easy lay down for him. So it was like 6 months, 8 months of like, I don't know who you are, before it was like, oh, okay. You know, he had to prove that he was worthy to even deal with me. And not all men will see that and be like, oh, she's a challenge. I want to, you know, deal with that. A lot of men will be like, okay, yeah, she meets all my criteria, but I'm not trying to work that hard.
Yeah, but then you have a certain type of man that would look at you and be like, okay, you have these qualities, and this is definitely what... We're very simple creatures. We're not complex. You get what I'm saying?
I know,
we look at the 5 little things that we want on our little list. We see that, we already know. You know what I'm saying? A woman would have 10 things, 15 things. We see 3 or 4 things that you got the looks, you got the good, you know, good hair or whatever it is that you see at first sight. You know that this is the person that you would be with. Now, if you go talk to the person and they have a different personality from what you vision, now your mind probably changes.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? But most times a man could tell.
Right.
And this is why there's divorce.
Yeah.
Because there's so many more layers to that.
Yeah.
You think they're that simple, but they're not. And you, Bree, I heard you when he was saying, you were kind of like, because once you're with them, it's like, it's not that simple.
Yeah.
So fun.
I'm curious to know, because we spoke about, you know, the honeymoon phase, and we agreed that we'd hate the word phase, and that the honeymoon part of the relationship should be throughout the whole thing. And obviously, you know, marriages is, you have your good days and your bad days, but I know for you, Janae, y'all are really good at keeping the spark, you know what I'm saying? From what I see from the outside looking in.
I mean, I'm just a sexual creature, so for me, it's just easy because, you know, we fit like a puzzle piece.
Right.
So, I mean, it's ebbs and flows, quote my boo.
Yeah.
So it's back and forth, you know. So some moments it's you know, the shore is just flooded with waves, and then other times it's like it's a drought. So it happens. I mean, we're human beings, so when people say like, oh, you know, you need to constantly, you know, satisfy your husband, this, that, and the third. I mean, it sounds like you're a little insecure, because why do you have to constantly do that? Yeah. You know, if you're off and you don't feel like you're in the mood, you have to just go with something that doesn't feel natural. Yeah. That's not fair.
And then it's not enjoyable for everybody.
It's not enjoyable for everyone. So I have to just sit up here and do something I don't really want to do just because you're the man and I got to do this for you. You should be understanding just of me, just to have to be understanding of you.
So let's gear it towards just the dating, right? So you're married, but you guys still date, right? So how does that work for you?
We are big on dating, I'd say, especially. I think that's one of the main things that keeps things alive, even when it's kind of droughty. Like for us, like last weekend, we went to a winery together. We took our dog to the dog beach. And so we're always finding new little, like us, we're like the restaurant like book. My family calls us for restaurants because they know we're going to go on our date. We're going to find a new restaurant that's kind of something new. We kind of like bigger dates, I guess you could say. Like we always save up to go on at least like 3 or so trips a year, maybe more if we can, swing it.
Right.
And so, because that's where we kind of get rejuvenated. So we go to Mexico for a week, just like us two. And, then you come back like feeling that honeymoon phase you're talking about. Because when you're in that day-to-day, tired from work, you work whatever, 10 hours for the day. Sometimes it might not be so honeymoony.
Right.
And but then that's why it's good to kind of break out of your normal everyday habit to kind of bring that little spark back, at least for us. Yeah.
Agreed.
And with you, Janae, you have kids. So let's talk about that part with dating and keeping that spark while having the children.
No, that's where you have to tap your village.
Okay.
Tap. So you can make it happen. Like, my mom, my in-laws, my dad, they're amazing. So my sister. So I have individuals that I can definitely like go to and say, hey, we're doing this, or I'll tell him, hey, we're trying to do something, call them and see if they can watch the kids. So we make it happen. And like for Valentine's Day that just happened, it was like, I told this year, I was like, you know what? Big Mama gonna take you out. So I took him out instead of him doing all the snazzy stuff. He got me a gift, but I took him out and we did our whole little nice fancy date night, which was amazing. We went to a great restaurant, but it felt good to take him out and do stuff for him, because sometimes it gets so one-sided. I think women kind of like lose that.
Yeah.
Like, I understand you don't want to just always be doing. You want to feel catered to as a woman. I get that.
But it's 100%. Nice to do for him.
But it feels good to be his sugar mama.
Yeah.
At least one night.
Yes. I love that.
So how about handling disagreements and conflict? Like, being together for a while, you know what that person might like, or what triggers them, or what might tick them off by doing this one little thing. Yeah. But now you have a disagreement, and you got to come to either agree to disagree, or you'll just agree overall. So how do you come to an agreement in a situation where you have an argument where y'all got different opinions?
I mean, for us, we actually did do like a little bit of marriage therapy. So we got some, I guess you could say, tools is what they call it. Yeah. So we have different tools of like, literally one is called like the aftermath of a fight. And so it's learning to understand each other and understand where each other is coming from. So it's part of it is literally us saying like, okay, so during this is how I felt, this is what happened. And then they kind of repeat it back to you to kind of be like, okay, so what I'm hearing is you said you felt very misunderstood and hurt in that moment. And then I can be like, yes, or kind of clarify it. And then from there, then I can be like, okay, and this is how you felt. And then from there, we don't have to like fully agree, but to understand each other, it really helps. Because you might not be like, oh, I 100% agree with your point of view, but at least I can see where you're coming from. I see why you had that train of thought. I see why we got to where we were. And then from there, it's kind of just being like, okay, in the future, how can we do this differently? How can we make each other feel more heard in that moment? And then for me, I need a little cool off period. So I'll go in my corner with my dog or whatever. I need just a minute. And then
you kind of input like empathy in there.
Yes. Yeah. Empathy is huge. Because if you don't understand each other, then it's just you going back and forth, and then you're talking to girls like, he doesn't understand me or whatever.
True. So, what about you, Janae?
I think for us, the biggest thing, or a biggest hurdle that we had to get over, well, let me not speak for him. Let me speak for me. The biggest hurdle I had to get over is, one, I hold grudges. I still work on it to this day. And two, I'm a talker. I like to talk. I'm a big communicator, and that's just not men's go-to. Yeah. They want to shut down, and then if you overtalk, then they're just like really just like mute. So I had to really learn to like, okay, say your point, Janae. Now shut up. Yeah. Don't say anything else. Like, give him an opportunity to process, even if it takes 2 minutes of silence, and I'm just like, like, say something. I have to give him the opportunity to process, because he's a Capricorn.
Oh yeah.
So you guys like get in your heads with stuff, and you guys have to really process before you like spit it out, because you guys can be disgusting with your words. So but me being a Virgo, I like to communicate, and I like to have like an agenda in the conversation. Like, I want to say this, okay, we got that squash, and let's move on. So so it's hard sometimes, but that is my way of doing my part. Because the thing is, I can't control what he does. I can only do my part, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, as humans, we always going to fall back into what's comfortable.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, we know, we do the therapy. We've done that whole spin around the block therapy. But as human beings, you're going to fall into what's comfortable.
Yeah.
So it takes a lot of work. And that's one thing I will always say about marriage. Marriage is a beautiful thing, but people don't realize how much work it is. It's like women aspire for something that, girl, this is work.
You about to get into something.
This is triple work. If you have 2 kids like I do, like kid work and then husband work and then your own internal work.
Yeah.
It's exhausting at times.
I remember when I interviewed you, and you told me that you guys have a safe word.
Oh yeah, we do.
And I was like, that is genius.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think when it gets too intense, we definitely have a safe word.
Oh
it's
my
avocado.
gosh. Yes.
Okay.
It's avocado.
Something
Random. Yeah.
So
I
it's
love
like
that.
when it's like, because you know sometimes the emotions get high, you know, and it's like, wow. It's like, wait a minute, you coming in hot, Playboy? Avocado.
Yes.
Go to your corner.
Yes.
Okay.
This episode of the Student to Life podcast is sponsored by Vintage Flowers and Events. For the Valentine's Day flowers, for your Mother's Day flowers, for your Christmas, your anniversary, whatever you need these flowers for, these teddy bears, whatever arrangements, you could hit up Vintage Flowers and Events.
Yes.
The number to call to make orders, place orders, or for more info is 754-423-4673.
So you guys did discuss therapy and everything. So did you guys do the premarital therapy, or was it when you guys got into the marriage that you guys got into therapy?
We did premarital, and then we did like a 4-week course. We did it for an extended period of time before we got married, and we did a little bit of therapy while being married, but it didn't really last long because it just didn't fit our schedule. But again, like, you know, everybody can benefit from therapy, but we have just been together so long and we know each other so well. It was just like, okay, we took some nuggets from that, and it's like, okay, how can we apply it? Like, I really know you. Like, come on now, let's figure out how we can be better with this.
Yeah.
And we really had a meeting of the minds about our relationship, our marriage, and what we want. And we try to be very honest. It's very uncomfortable in those conversations because sometimes you want to kind of save that person's feelings, but you got to get to a point where if I continue to try to save your feelings, then I'm killing me.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. What about you, Bray? You did premarital, or was it?
Yeah, we did the premarital like with church and our pastor, and so we did that for, I guess probably about a month or so. I think 6 sessions, something like that. And then we still have a therapist like to this day, not like that we see all the time, but it's one that I can call her and be like, look, things are wild right now.
I need your help.
And it could be the same things we're saying to each other, but just having sometimes that
A mediator.
Yeah, the mediator there. Especially, I mean, we're like 29, so we're sometimes, you know, a little younger. We could be a little immature on some things. But so that mediator kind of just helps. And so we might see her even twice a year. But if it's a hot session, I might see her once a week.
Yeah.
Like if we're going through whatever.
Yeah. Okay.
But I mean, it's helped, and it's mainly about learning to communicate with each other.
It's the communication.
So, yeah.
Communication is such a major. It's so major. It's
We talked about the honeymoon phase, right? But what are some tools that you can give people to like keep a spark in the relationship? Because you talk about the honeymoon phase where you want to create that right throughout, but a lot of people don't know the tools in order to keep that spark going like all the time.
Okay.
What do you mean?
Okay. Okay, now I got this.
Are we getting next rated?
Yeah, no. I will say, I mean, some of the spark definitely is, it's both people, I feel like, got to work at it. So like she says, like sometimes you got to like do something for him. Like even if you put on, you know, that little cute outfit for him that he's not expecting one night, and just like catering, make sure, you know, dinner's ready and just like, you know, like the Destiny's Child song, like cater to you.
Yeah.
Like sometimes you gotta do a little catering. Right. And I feel like that helps with the spark. And like I said, the main thing is like for me is the dating. So getting out of just being tired and laying on the couch and watching movies, get up, go to a concert, go to something, and just kind of feel like you're on that date. Like we'll sit and we'll talk. I like to buy like those little card game things that are like little questions. I mean, we've known each other like 10 years, but for us, because we met when we were like 18, so much has changed in that time. Like versus like maybe if we met when we were 30 or something like that.
Right.
So since so much has changed, there's some things that I'm still learning about him like every time.
Yeah.
And so I think to like spark up, my main thing would be go on a date, go on like an unusual date, something new. Like even pottery where you guys can laugh at yourself. You might not know pottery. It might not be your favorite.
But I mean, it would be something to you know, do with each other to experience that. Because for me personally, I would want to do something fun. So that would be something that, you know, good couples could do to get to know each other on that level. Like our last guest said, don't go to dinner. Like that's really outdated. Like go places where you're gonna be your natural self. You're gonna be who you really are. Because if I'm at dinner, I'm probably not gonna be me per se. If I go out to like go-karts, now you can see me having fun. And
you see that competitive spirit.
Exactly. Not only that, if you're doing something out of your norm, then you're going the girl probably gonna pick up on it like, oh, that's not what you showed me on this first date or this second date. So now I'm seeing you, you're laughing, you're having fun, and all these things. So what about you? What are some of the?
I'll start off soft. Yes, I like the dates. Like you said, like pottery. Like I absolutely enjoyed my husband planned the date, and we went and we did glass blowing. So we had like a vase that I made, and he made an ashtray, and that was really fun to do. That's something totally different that I was like, oh wow, this is cute.
I think that night. That was when we actually had a double. We did meet up. We had a double date after that night. I remember.
That was so much fun. I really enjoyed doing that. That was nice. And so I guess a way to keep the spark alive is knowing your person's love language. Because that automatically activates whatever. That'll get the juices flowing low key. You know? Like for me, I like gifts and I like, you know, thoughtfulness. And I like words of affirmation. So, you know, you present me with a gift and take me somewhere outlandish and you say some nice things. Oh,
what we doing?
Well, what we doing? I'm ready to go. So, you know, I would say that's one big thing. But also in terms of just making sure you're, as a woman, just doing what you need to do to, you know, make sure your man is excited and always ready. It's like, just do random things. I'm very random. Like, he'll be walking around the house like he works from home, and I'm hybrid. Sometimes I'm at home if I feel like it. Sometimes I'm in the office. Depends on what I want. And he'll come around the corner from the kitchen, and I might just be bent over, and it's like, oh my god, I'm like,
on purpose.
Wing that thing out, you know. So I feel like you just have to keep it spicy and just keep them like on their toes, you know. Don't just keep it in the bedroom. Don't just keep it. You know, when the kids go to sleep, maybe they're in there playing a video game, and it's like, let's go in the half bath really quick. Be quiet. You know, just random. I feel like that's how you really keep it, you know, spicy and on your toes. And you know, just depending on what you're comfortable with. You know, there's so many different things that you can do to keep it spicy, but you know, you gotta just
your level
you're into. You know? Your level of freak. Let's say.
There we go.
So, I know we kind of spoke about, you know, discussing the hard conversations, whatever. But I do have a question about when it comes to friendships, right? Being married and life. And I wouldn't say life changes because it's really just you signing a paper or whatever it may be. You with your person. But was there a shift, right, when you guys got married, as far as how your friendship dynamic went with your friends that was unmarried? And if there was, like, how did you guys navigate that, and are you guys still friends with them?
I have still the same friends. I have pretty much the same friends. Not much has changed. And I'm saying that because my ride or dies, like my lean-ons are still there. The, you know, auxiliary, the people on the outskirts, your appetizers, maybe they might have fell off, whatever. But I think what happens is when you are in a fruitful situation and people on the outside are constantly seeing you growing and doing things, and it becomes a reflection. You're not a reflection, but you start looking internal. And then you either take that internal look and you say, you know what? I'm gonna take notes and I'm gonna try to be better, and I want to aspire to that.
Yeah.
Or you take that and you're
envious.
like, I'm pissed.
Yeah.
And then I'm angry. And then you might find someone else that might have looked at my Instagram and you're like, yeah, you see that shit? Then all of a sudden it's like this whole mess, you know, because I've definitely dealt with the messy talking trash. You sent that text to me. So I don't know. I feel like you just have to be very you have to just pray for discernment on the people that you bring in your circle. And for me, I have children, so I'm very that's a constant prayer for discernment on who to bring in if new. You know, if not new, I feel like they're covered. There are little people I feel safe with. I'll leave my kids with. You know, and that's my biggest thing. My children. I'm not worried about my husband because you know. But I'm more so concerned about bringing people into my family, you know. So have my friendship changed? Not so much, but I will give the advice of just, you know, praying for discernment on who you let in.
Gotcha. What about you,
babe? Yeah, I kept the same friends from, like, I have like a little girl posse, and we kind of, I know, it sounds crazy, but it's a little gang of 6 of us, and like, 2 of us are married, some are in serious relationships, some are single. But it's just knowing also, I guess, who to tell what to. So you don't air your whole, you know, relationship business out there. Sometimes if you're speaking maybe to another married woman, they'll understand a little bit more. To be like, okay, I know I was cussing him or a little bit, but like, that's still my man, don't get crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, and my friends, they're all good about it. And also, like, I feel like in a relationship, you need to keep your girlfriends and his guy friends, like, don't just be like all up under each other like 24/7.
Right.
So for us, that's a big thing. He knows I have my girl days. Like, we had Galentine's on Sunday, and then Valentine's on Tuesday. Like,
I'll do that next year.
I said that too. I was like, I want to do that. Yeah, we can do that.
Okay. Yes, you have to. We had a little picnic. We're laid out. It was cute. You have to.
Don't put our twist on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what about, because we had this conversation the other day about the best friend thing. Like, you as a woman has a man has a best friend, or your husband as a woman has a best friend. What's
we
your
don't
take
have
on
that.
Oh, no, we
don't have that. That it's not a thing. I only have female best friends. Only guys in my circle are ones that my girls have brought in that are like their boyfriends. Okay. So for me personally, I don't believe in making new best friend guys, because, like, I mean, he's my best friend guy. So a lot of guys would be like, oh, well, you don't have enough friends, or like, let me talk to you. Do you need a friend? I'm like, no. I have friends.
And your husband is your friend.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm good. Yeah. So, I mean, maybe if he came into the relationship with a girl best friend.
That's what I was going to ask.
That's different, yeah.
I'd have to see how that relationship kind of goes, or like was going. For him, yeah, he has a guy best friend. He doesn't have a girl best friend, so.
I mean, like, for you, go ahead before I say it.
No, you had the thought. Finish it.
But what I was saying was, like, going into the relationship, that best friend was there. Right?
Yeah.
So how do you handle that? Like, even dating somebody who has a best friend of the opposite sex, how do you go about dealing with that? Because a lot of women are not okay with that. But then there's some that, okay, we all are cool. Like, she becomes now a part of, you know, the friendship circle, basically. So if we all hanging out, you know, there's no, oh, that's your friends and this is my friends. So we all just hanging out and everybody's good. You know what I'm saying? And then you become friends with his best friend, and, you know, that's the dynamic I'm imagining.
Go ahead. You could go, yeah.
I don't have much to say on that because I don't deal in that.
Right.
I don't deal in that in terms of my husband having female besties or when we were dating. That wasn't the case. I mean, whoever was around that thought they were a friend, they were plotting, and they got cleared out once I came in the picture. And it's vice versa. You know, I'm like, you speak to my family, I was that girl that was the guy's girl. Like, I was hanging with the group of guys. Yeah, I was. Okay. That was me, because I'm like, locker room talk. I'm laughing. Like I'm that girl. But like when his friends come over, I'm out there with them and we're chilling, we talking, you know, whatever. I'm one of those girls. Yeah. However, once I got with my husband before we even got married, it was like, yeah, no, I'm not really okay with that. Yeah. And it was a real push and pull, but I had to decide, like, are those friendships that valuable to me than what I'm building with him? And for me, he was more valuable to me than anything. And those friendships were something that was fleeting. And when I really took a really, close look at it, it was like, are these friendships that never had any type of hint of trying to approach me in a different manner, other than just friendship. And when I looked at it and assessed the situation, all of those friendships had a situation where it was like, like,
they're too close.
You're too close or something, and I have to like, so I'm keeping it friendly. You ready to see where it could go, but I'm keeping it friendly, but I felt in control in that situation. Like, you're not going to do anything that I can't, allow you to do. But I'm just kind of like, I don't mind females being around if it's like, oh, this is your friend's wife, like you said, things like that. Okay, cool, because that's what we have. Like his best friend is that's my dog, and his wife, that's my dog. We go out together and everything like that. So it just all depends on the person in the situation, because sometimes people just are wolves in sheep's clothing.
True.
Yeah.
That's very true.
Okay, so I'm assuming, do you have kids? I never asked you. Kids.
No, just a dog.
No.
Yeah. Just a little fur baby.
Okay, so this question is just for you then. Okay. So how many kids do you have?
I have 2 kids.
I have 2 kids. So you had kids after you got married or before?
I had my first in 2013. I got married when I was in 2015, and then I had my second in 2017.
So when the children came in the picture, how did that dynamic change the whole relationship?
Oh, they took over.
they own y'all now. Like, they run things.
They absolutely own us. My 9-year-old is my mini-me, and the girl is just as witty as I don't know what. She would own this room if she was in here right now. My 5-year-old is a tyrant.
Oh no! Okay.
Because he's the most adorable thing you will ever see. So he just silently just runs stuff. So both of my kids just come in and wreck shop everywhere they go.
I like it.
So they did the same thing with our lives, and it was a lot of balance. So that's something that is ever changing, something that you're always working on, like that Excel sheet that you're always trying to get the formula right for those cells. Yeah. That's what having kids is in a marriage, because you're constantly like, all right, maybe I can perfect it if I do this.
Oh no!
Let me put the parentheses and the semicolon in the cell, and maybe I can make it right. That's what it is with kids, because honestly, because they're growing, you're growing, everybody's moving. It's a lot of moving pieces, but we're all trying to move forward at the same time. So it's a lot, but it's a beautiful thing. I'm just gonna overshare. I was going to try to like do like a mommy retreat and take myself away and all this other stuff, but then Valentine's Day came and I was like, you know what? They're my good graces. I'm just gonna like treat everybody. So that's when I took my husband out, took my daughter out, did something with my son, with everyone, and it felt amazing just to do stuff with them. But then after you do stuff, then they start acting cranky, and then it's I went out of town. It's again, even with the kids, it's that ebb and flow. So I mean, the dynamic changes, but I mean, I can only speak from a mom's perspective. As a mom, my children will always bypass dad somewhat. Sometimes it comes to me. So that's always something that's like hard for mothers to deal with. And that's why I say, when you decide you really want to get married and have kids, know that you are going to be the meat and potatoes for a lot. And it's not like, oh, your kid showed up to the birthday party without her hair done, and people are going to look at the dad and say like, oh, why didn't you do the girl's hair? No, it's going to be like, what's wrong with your wife? Why didn't you do this? You're judged all the time, even if you're not there. Like, oh, what your kid has on, the shoe's not.
Yeah, that's true.
You get all this slack, And the man, as long as he's there with the kids, it's like, oh,
look at him. He did his best.
Came to the birthday party. I know it was so hard for you. Like, it's not hard for me.
So
I've been trying to get these lashes on his hair. Come on.
So a follow-up question, right? Because we talked, excuse me, we talked about this in the last episode too, where if it's a situation where the kids are involved now, right?
Right.
And you have to choose, not really choose, but who really comes first? Like, you put the kids in a situation, and it's like a lot of women would say, the kids come first, and not the husband, or the husband would say the kids come first and not the wife. If anything happens, they come first. Who do you put first in that situation?
And what's the scenario? Because it's different scenarios where you
like a fire or like
No, it's a
but no, just to be general, I was messing with you. I get where you're going. But in general, honestly, so a word of advice that I got from someone else that was older and married is that, they're gonna leave you. Yeah. They're gonna leave you. They're going to love you, and they're going to leave you, and they're going to come back. However, my biggest goal in prayer is just to give my kids the greatest tools and give them as much independence and knowledge as they can so they can leave from me and not have to come back. Mm-hmm. So who comes first? My husband. Because when I'm like... When my knees is out, my back is out.
When we're 80.
Who's going to help me get to the bathroom?
Exactly.
I already know my kids will be there, but they're going to be like, wow, like, this one is going to be like, I done seen this, for 20, 50 years.
Yeah.
I picked this up gladly and take you where you need to go.
Yeah.
So, that's the beauty of marriage. And that's why it's like, I would always put my husband first, Right. I mean, it's hard sometimes because, when you have kids like mine, they'll call you out, but it's really the way of life. And I mean, that's what the Bible says,
Yeah. So this is a little bit personal, but not personal. You have to go into it too much. When it comes to like finances and stuff, is that something that you guys are continuously learning with each other, like how we handle finances, or you guys have something set to where it's like, we know how to go about our finances and stuff like that? And was that a conversation that you guys had before you was married, before you got into the marriage?
For me, it was more set. Like, we talked a little bit about it before marriage, like in a mixed sense. So when we got married, we did get like a joint credit card. We started with a joint credit card and a joint like savings. And so for us, the way we do finances is we mainly do like our mortgage and house stuff like out of our joint account. But then if he wants to go buy some shoes, or if he wants to get some like, or if I want to go like buy this outfit. I mean, as long as it wasn't like a $3,000 outfit. Yeah. Okay. It was okay. But if it's like any major thing, or if like we're loaning someone money, that has to go through like our little committee of two. Okay. So
the committee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so for us, when it comes to finances, honestly, I'm not gonna lie, because anybody who really knows me knows, I've been a stay-at-home mom for years, and my husband has taken great care of me. Like, we get into arguments, and sometimes I'll say, like, when people see me, they see you, because this is all you, boo. Now I'm back, like, I'm really back seriously in the corporate world. I'm a corporate trainer at American Express, so I'm making really good money, and he makes really good money. So right now we're in the middle of an ebb and flow right now with everything, kind of figuring it out. So I think it is true, trying to like figure it out. It's a continuous thing depending on where you are. I've done my hand at entrepreneurship. He did his. He's still in it. So we do different things, and we've been really blessed to be able to still acquire properties and vehicles and do businesses and still stay above water. But when it comes to like checking savings and things like that, we're one. Like whatever I got, he got, and whatever he got, I got. So I have access to everything. He has access to everything. But when it comes to like major stuff, like mortgage and stuff like that, you were mentioning, like, my man is the one that takes care of all of that. I don't know about all that. But like little stuff, like I do, like, shoot. If I feel like it. I'm really, my husband is blessed And also cursed with marrying a very much so spoiled brat. Because my dad
You know what,
did him
too?
dirty.
One thing I do love about that is that you gave him your props. Like you said that you're all him. You know what I mean? And you allow him to feel like a king because he's taken on more of that. You know, and a lot of women, they don't acknowledge their husband as that. And they don't make them feel that way. And because you are mommy and you do handle I'm pretty sure you handle the kids way more than he does in the household, and you keep the house up. You have a beautiful house, you know, so it's a balance there, and I like it. And a lot of the times I see, you know, men would some men, they wouldn't want they want their wives to work and stuff like that. But with that, it comes with, okay, the wife is working, but then I still kind of have the load of the children, especially if you're working just as much. And it can become an unyoked type of thing, because how can you stay in your feminine for him so that after he's done working, you can be there for him the way that he needs you to be there for him. And I love that you guys have that dynamic to where it's like he knows that he's holding it down and you're holding it down on your end in the ways that you need to hold it down on your end. So I do love that.
I mean, it's an ever-flowing thing. I'm not going to lie. It's a lot. And I have to give him props on that too, because he's definitely, he steps up when he needs to do what's necessary for our kids. So he'll do pickup and drop-offs, and I'm at work. So, you know, we are, you know, always transforming our Rubik's Cube. We're continually moving and shaping ourselves into what works.
It's now tax season. And this tax season, the best place to get your taxes done is at Spectrum Tax Group. We've specialized in doing taxes anywhere in the US. It's very convenient. You can do your taxes just from your mobile phone with your mobile app. You can log on to our Instagram at Spectrum Tax Group. That's SPECTRUMTAXGROUP. That's Spectrum Tax Group on Instagram. You can log on to our website at spectrumtaxgroup.net. All right? So if it's this tax season, you need a good, reliable tax person, hit us up over at Spectrum Tax Group. We'll take good care of you. All right? So we talk about women being independent in a relationship, in a marriage, and you know, in certain marriages, you have the woman is making her money, the man is making his money. So now, where do you come to the agreement? Like a lot of relationships that I've heard of, they all put all their money in one account. You know, and then there's relationships where you have your money, I have my money, and then there's one bank account that we put all the money in to pay the bills and do the business and all of this stuff. So what are your thoughts on like sharing one big account, because now we're a whole team, or does you have your individual account? I have my individual account. I don't have to ask you if I'm going to the mall to buy something. I have my money to do that. He has his spending money to do whatever. So what's your thoughts on that?
Me?
Yes, you.
Look right at you, girl.
About the finances and debt.
We both was talking about it.
Both you guys.
No, but for me, in terms of that, like, I think for me, I'm really, really like well versed in all of that because I've lived it all. You know, I've definitely been not working for 3-4 years, and you know, it's not a pot. It's his pot, and it's like I want to go to the store, and then we've been in the situations where I'm working. You know, so I feel like for me, I like the situation of this is our bill account, and this is what we're gonna do. You know, and we're gonna distribute as necessary. You know, whoever one maybe puts more than the other. But one may put more than the other, and that's just how it flows.
How do you determine that? Who puts how much?
Who makes more?
But still, if I make, say I make $10,000 a month,
okay,
right? And you save $8,000 a month. How do we determine who puts how much in that account?
I feel like what's really equal is just like really looking at, like, you either do a percentage, because we've talked about two different aspects. We either do a percentage, like we do a set percentage that's going to come out of your, income for that month, and it's going to come out of mine, even if it's different, amounts, lower, higher.
Right.
Is it set 3%, whatever that's going to go in, and that covers everything.
Right.
Or it's like, okay, you carry these major bills and I carry these.
Right.
And then that's it. So you put what you need to put in for these little bills and I put in for my major stuff and everything's going to come out of there. Either way, it's going to get taken care of.
Okay.
But I just think it depends on what you feel is more comfortable for you. Some people are more minuscule when it comes to money. Like if you have that accountant and math mind, you're like, okay, I want a set percentage and I feel like it's equal. Like we both are putting, 5% of our monthly income into this account and it's going that way. Or I could be like, you know what? I'm just taking care of FP&L, cable, and groceries, and
That's me.
I see you on the other side, right?
So what about you?
For me personally, I like we do it. I'm a budgeter, so like I got an Excel sheet. It deducts from the top.
So you have that account in mind.
But it's so if my budget, like we can't do 50-50 because if my budget is saying the mortgage is whatever, $3,000, whatever it is, and if I can't put in 15 and 15, he's obviously not gonna make me go into a deficit because like we're in love and he wants to see me alive. so
Now I'm walking around here sad.
He doesn't want to see me broke. He knows I need my nails done. He knows I need to be alive. So then he will be like, all right, so I'm going to put in 2,000 of it. So we kind of make it work for each other's how much we're making. So I can be like, I'll literally like type it in and be like, ooh, look, at the end it says I'm going to have like only this much, but he might have like $2,000 left. So he can be like, he'd be like, bet, no, babe, I'll take on the cable. I'll take that. You just worry about the groceries. Until like if my situation changes, then we assess it.
Right.
But it's mainly just based on not really a number for us. It's just make sure the bills are paid and who can do that.
Right.
And we both are making enough to where like no one's gonna like not survive.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if we're like maybe more lower income if it would change or if it'd be harder. But like for our income range at least, we just make it work. So as long as our bills are paid, he gets to buy whatever games he buys for his gaming, and I get to buy whatever, like getting my nails done, going to Chantal, and so then we're happy.
One more question on the finances side. So I'm an entrepreneur, so is Shan. So with being in a marriage, right, and you have investments now, do you guys invest together? Do you guys invest separately? How do you guys go about that?
Together.
Yeah. As if you buying properties, then this goes in both of you guys' names.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, this is ours.
Yeah. So I was like, from the moment we got married, it's a we, whatever we're.
Yeah, it's a we thing.
He does.
Our one
Yeah.
union. We did the whole sand thing.
Oh yeah, we did too. Yeah.
So you said that then. So what about prenup? What's your
We don't have one. What we came in with is what we leave it with.
I didn't come in with mine.
Yeah, I didn't. I was like, what are you gonna leave with $3? Like,
Hey,
I
what
don't
you
know.
want from me? I ain't got much to give you.
I think the prenup stuff is for like the wealthy folks, that's like millionaires, billionaires,
Well,
whatever.
that's the goal when you're together, though.
Yeah, but
a certain level.
Maybe I would have had a different thought process if I would have bought the properties that was proposed to me prior to getting married, but I didn't.
Yeah.
Then it would have been like, okay, I want to keep that for me and maybe for my children. But I didn't go into it with that. I came into it with, butterflies and love in my heart. So it was just like, we're just going to do it. So that wasn't not even one bit of a conversation.
Yeah.
At all.
No, I was like, bro, we're both coming in with like not much.
Yeah.
So whatever we make, like we made this.
Right.
So.
I mean, outside of you guys, that's what I mean. Like outside of you guys, right? Like let's say it's just a general statement, and somebody's going into a marriage with. Let's say both of you guys had nothing then, right? And then one person became successful, like he became rich. You know
How'd he become
Like,
rich? He became rich probably because she was holding it down at home.
That's what I'm saying.
So yeah.
So now, you got to split everything down the middle.
Yep.
For some people going into the marriage, you sign that prenup to begin with, and then they get rich afterwards, and then now it's a big confusion. You know what I'm saying?
I think if he was like a millionaire before, then, and if he was like, if his family's like, oh, you have to protect his money or whatever, I mean, I don't think I would have minded.
I think prenups are for assholes.
It makes you want to get out of the marriage quicker. I feel like.
And that's why I say prenups are for assholes. It's for guys or people that go into the situation where you already have this like predetermined life minuscule thought of doubt of the situation. So it's like, I gotta protect me. And I understand. I get it. However, I feel like it's kind of assholeish because it's like, how are you doing this whole deep emotional love for me that's everlasting? But it's like, just in case.
It don't make no sense.
What is the just in case?
I have to disagree a little bit because, I mean, you got to look at all possibilities. Even though you don't want it to turn out that way, you know it's a possibility that it can. And then you go into a situation and now you're losing half of everything you got. Because I've literally seen it where they get married January and by November they're getting a divorce. You get what I'm saying?
They might not have known each other and just jumped in because she was cute and a little hand purse.
And he thought that was going to last forever.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So when you going into that, he didn't even think about none of that.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying, but my thought is, if it's a stand-up guy, right? Then it's in a stand-up woman that's not about that, you know, that's what I'm saying. And when I say asshole, not just the man. It could be both, right? Because it could be a situation like you just said, like, 3 months in, he's like, dang, I didn't realize you had all this baggage and drama. I don't really want to deal with that forever. You know, if she's going to be a person that's going to be like, oh, no, I need half of everything because we were married. You don't deserve that.
Right.
Not only that, there's people that prey on you because you have certain things.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? And they'll be everything you want them to be because they want to get to that. And once they get to we're married now, the papers are signed, all right, now I can do what I want. I'm going to leave you, I'm going to take half of everything. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
But some of the men that are at that high status, they're really looking for like hot girls, I guess you could say. They already know that that girl may not even have the substance. Their friends are probably all like, don't do it, don't do it. But they're like, she's hot, she's gonna elevate me. And then they're butthurt when obviously it doesn't work out because they didn't actually have a true bond with them to start.
From speaking to successful men, they'll tell you that being successful and single and trying to find somebody is very difficult because you don't know who's there for whatever reason. You get what I'm saying? Like, you can't pretend to be broke anymore. Now you have everything you actually want. So that's why you see rappers date rappers or rappers date famous people, or that's how it works out. But you find a random person, you don't know what their intentions are. Even being friends with somebody. You're successful now, you don't even know who's your friend because they really are your friends.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? Because of what you have. You're very insecure about that. Yeah. So you find somebody now that's everything you think you want. Now you let your guards down, and now you're in trouble.
I think when it comes to a successful man choosing his person, and it's only right to choose a woman that has some level of success on her own. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And
it's safer.
It's safer, because that way, she's already set herself, and she already is a go-getter. She already knows how to get it and how to grow herself as a woman and maintain it. So I think successful men should be with a woman that already is
established at some sense. Right. And I agree with that. Yeah. Because the thing is, you're getting with someone and you're going to want to build her up.
Right.
And she's at some point going to have insecurities, and it's going to turn into a thing within the relationship. Because that happens.
Yeah.
That absolutely happens. If you're an alpha woman or have alpha woman traits, because I feel like sometimes you're not all in that one status of, I'm an alpha. You may have the traits.
Right.
And it may move around.
Right.
But if you have those traits, at some point, you may be like, I'm a stay-at-home mom. And I'm speaking for me. Yeah, I'm a stay-at-home mom. But it's like, I'm worth so much more.
Right.
You can do it if you needed to.
If you really needed to.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Like,
exactly.
It's nothing for me to get out here and get it if I want to.
Yeah.
So, you have to be able to choose the right person. I agree wholeheartedly.
Yeah. I think the biggest blessing is having somebody that's there with you before you got that success.
Yes.
Because now you really have somebody in your corner that genuinely wants to be there. But for the people that are successful and now you really want to find somebody, I think that's very difficult. Because I've seen it firsthand where I have friends now that cannot be in relationships because there's trust issues with people preying on them because of what they have. And it's very hard, especially with our ethnicity, to find a certain woman with a level of success.
Within our ethnicity?
black
We're
woman.
gonna go there?
Yes, I'm just saying.
That's a blatant lie.
I'm just saying with men and women, it's not just women only. You know
No,
what
that's
I'm saying?
just women, period.
I just think it's just your judgment of character and just you just have to work on yourself as a man and as a woman and know what you want. And once you put that out in the universe, you'll be granted with it. It's some people don't even know how to go in within self. They literally operate off the exterior, off the money, off the clothes, off the flashy shit. You know what I'm saying? And then that's what you're going to attract. But if you can have, just like when, let's talk about ethnicities. The other cultures, right?
Okay.
There will be millionaires, billionaires, and you will never know.
Right.
Right? Someone could walk in here and from another ethnicity in a regular shirt and some jeans pants and some regular shoes, and they'd be a millionaire.
You don't know.
You don't know because they don't operate off of that. That's not how they move.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So as a person, you have to know. And with our culture, with the Jamaican culture, and I hate it, it's all about fashion and style and all that friggery.
Yes.
But I can't say
You know
I
what I'm
hate it.
saying?
I hate it all the way because we're cultured. You know what I'm saying? Like we have a certain type of culture.
Right.
That's what we are. Cultured people.
Right.
So our culture is dress nice, look good, have the best things. We as Jamaicans are. I'm gonna defend them because like I said, I grew up there.
Right.
I don't just look from outside in. I've been in it.
Yeah.
So with us, we're cultured, right? We dress a certain way, we look a certain way. We want to be the best at everything.
Right.
We're the best at the worst things.
Right.
We're the best at the bad things. We're the best at the good things.
Right.
And that's what we aspire to be at all times. Now, if it's to get dressed and go out, we want to be the best at it.
But don't lead with it. That's the thing.
No, that's what the problem is now.
Yeah.
Where
Don't
we
lead with the
weaponize it. We weaponize that. We get money and now we put all our importance on how we look, what we have.
Because now you're attracting the wrong people.
Later on, yeah.
That you didn't attract this gold digging ass woman, but you've been leading with your fashion and your money.
Exactly.
And that's why when you said culture, that's why I was like ethnicity, because the thing is, it will be, this Jamaican man that has all this, that, and the third, and what you're going to get when you want to get foreign because you feel like that's building you up. And how is that building you up?
Right.
But that's a whole nother conversation because I just don't understand. I don't understand that because, I mean, that was your oppressor, and all of a sudden that's building you up because you got money now. You got with that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to understand what you mean.
How is that like? Okay, I don't understand how we don't understand. So if you have now ascended in your life to have of substance, you're making 6-7 figures. You're making good money. I'm not talking about you making 4 figures, 5 figures. You live with your mama and you over here buying Gucci and things like that. That's not it.
Right.
I'm talking about you making 6-7 figures. You got a nice car, you got a nice house, you got several homes. You're making real good money, right? And all of a sudden you feel like in order to really feel like you're established, you have to get, a white woman, a Spanish woman. No qualms against you. I love everyone. But I'm just speaking facts. Why is that something that makes you feel now you actually have now made it because you have that on your arm?
No, I think you're misunderstanding what I was saying. That wasn't my point that I was trying to make.
No,
That's why I asked you what you
I'm not
mean.
saying that was your point, but I'm
Cool.
elaborating and going
A lot of
further
men
to what you're
have
saying
that mentality.
because that's what happens, and not just I'm African American, not just in the Jamaican community. It's just because Jamaicans are African Americans. We're all from the same diaspora, right? So it's just period. It's such a very sad situation that we feel like we have to we idolize our colonizers. Like that makes us feel like, okay, we got money now. We have to get with this. That makes us feel better.
No, that definitely was my point.
I know it wasn't, but I'm just I'm extending on what we were speaking.
Right. But yeah.
Yeah, like how you're saying, like the people who to stay with the girl or whatever, or the man that when you started with, that would be actually the smart way to go, to ride it out. I see so many, well, I mean, obviously it's in the news, whatever, who knows, but then they drop that girl that's been with them for 20 years and didn't work because she was helping to build him up. And then they get with some hot girl from South Beach that they picked up. And they're like, okay, now I made it. And they're like, oh my God, she left me. And I'm like, well,
what did you expect?
I'm like, if you would have rode with the person who had you when you were nothing, that's how you know that obviously she was genuinely with you. At least she saw something in you.
To be devil's advocate in that situation, a lot of men or even people in general who never had anything, now you have everything. Now that gets to your head in a certain way. You don't have anything to keep you grounded now. You know what I'm saying? So
because people are hyping you up, everyone is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're not used to that. You don't have people around you. Even some people are not willing to have those people around them. Because remember, you had nothing. You had the same girl that was there with you when you had nothing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now she's trying to keep you grounded, but be like, yo, that's not you. Don't do that no
And you
more.
feel like she's bringing you down.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now you get rid of her, not
Yeah.
realizing that she knows you for you,
Right.
but you get rid of her because she's holding you accountable for the stuff that you're doing.
Yeah.
So that's mostly what it is. Like I said,
That's
just look
true.
at it from their point of view, not understanding how to maneuver this new life of having money now and being successful.
Yeah.
It's a hard thing to navigate. I really do have sympathy for those, or empathy for those individuals, because it is something hard to try to navigate, especially a younger individual. There's a lot of young people that, rappers and things like that, NBA players, that they don't know how to navigate that.
Yeah, that's true. So before we wrap up, we're gonna ask 2 more questions. So family, right? When you get married, family is you're one, and now the family is a part of the marriage to an extent, right? So what advice would you give, aspiring folks that wants to get married or newlyweds or whatever, about how to handle the family members that you guys don't get along with, the in-laws and those type of things? Like how do y'all go about that?
I mean, for me personally, I was blessed that I love my husband's family. I know it's all not the same.
Yeah.
But I mean, I met him because my best friend is his cousin. So I was already half. They always say that no, Brianna, you were in the family even if if you're with him or not. So for me, I would say our main thing is making sure that, number one, that we just still check in with each other, even though that's my bestie and I love his family. But to remember if someone wants to borrow money or whatever, don't just be like, yeah, sure, whatever. We know, we'll be like, ooh, let's go over it together, and then I'll let you know. So that way it's not on any one person when it's a no or if it's a yes, whatever it is. So for us, just kind of navigating family, it's also not telling them all the downsides. Yeah. Because you're going to tell him, be like, oh, he did this and this and this.
Yeah.
You might forgive and move on tomorrow or next week or whatever. You guys might work through it in therapy. They're not in therapy with you.
Yeah.
They're not in your bedroom with you.
Yeah.
So you're going to work through it. They're not going to work through it.
True.
Yeah.
And that could cause a divide. And they'd be like, ooh, remember when they did this? And so for me, I think it's very important to have a good family relationship, just to kind of, I don't like to isolate. We're big on family for ours, especially we're Jamaican, so we have a lot of family. So I don't like to be on an isolated island. We like to be able to go to family parties and everything. But we also know that at the end of the day, we are each other's team, and everyone else shouldn't be in a relationship. It should just be you two, and then the family is a happy bonus.
Yeah.
Right. That's true. A happy bonus. I'm kind of with her because I left. I was late coming here because I was waiting on my in-laws to come to my house to watch my daughter
Right.
project. So I have great in-laws. I absolutely adore them. They're the sweetest people. So I don't have any issues at all with my husband's family. They've all been very, very welcoming to me. My husband doesn't have any issue with my family. So we don't even deal with the whole money thing. No one even comes like that, So it's just cool beings, We try to do things together. I recently did, during Thanksgiving, I did a family kickball tournament. We had everybody together and we played kickball at the park, and it was just a mix of his people, a mix of my people. We all get together. But I grew up in that because I grew up in a mixed family situation. So I'm used to bringing this, reach over here and grab this family and bring them over here. We all in it together. So
who sits in the front seat? Mom, are you looking at us?
You asking me or you asking her?
Both of you guys, because I really want to hear this. I gotta hear this.
Who's in the front seat?
I sit in the front seat.
Me too.
So, all right. So this is the next question, right? What if you guys are not dealing with that now? But what if before you even got married, you wanted his family didn't get along? How would you go about that? Would you still block all that out and still move on with your relationship because you're happy here, or that's like say a
deal
determining
breaker.
factor,
Deal breaker.
Yeah.
of if the relationship goes forward or not.
For me, no. For me, no. I've been in situations prior to that where I've been in situations prior to that where people didn't like me, and that was okay because the thing is, I'm gonna stay on my ground. I'm from Florida. I'm gonna stay on my ground and I'm gonna stick beside him.
Okay,
And
okay.
that's what it is. So, I mean, for me, that's my perspective because it doesn't matter what those outside influences are.
Mm-hmm.
It's really about that union between you and that person. You know, you may not like it, but if he likes it, he loves it, he here, then that's where we're gonna be. It don't matter what everybody else has going on because you're not, like you said, you know, you're not in bed with us at night. You're not dealing with our day to day and things like that. And you know, it's just a lot of depth that kind of goes into the background on a lot of relationships that, you know, people don't know, you know? So how can you tell me who I can and cannot be? You don't like me because of what? You know, 9 times out of 10, you know, for me personally, 9 times out of 10, if someone doesn't like me, they don't like the fact that I'm loud, I'm confident, and I really could care less.
Right.
Then I'm gonna be cute.
Yeah.
What about for you?
It wouldn't be a deal breaker. I mean, it would suck just because.
Right.
I mean, like, I love his sisters. Like, sometimes I'll know things before, and he's like, "Oh, hey, yeah, Gabby said to do this." I'm like, "Yeah, she already texted me like 2 days ago." I'm like, "Oh," and I'm like, I mean, I just love being like to be in such a united family. But if it had to be like separate, I mean, he's still my person, so.
Right.
I mean, I guess we're gonna be on our island. It's not gonna be the greatest, but.
Sam, you want to hit the last question?
Yeah.
Okay.
So overall, just to seal this up, what advice would you give? You want to ask that one? You want to ask that?
I don't know if I could. I mean, if you want me to, I got it.
Well, okay, go ahead.
So there are like we talked about last episode where the marriage rate is like declining, and the divorce rate is like going on an incline. Even people we see being married for, you see people being married for years, and now they decide to part ways. Even though it's heartbreaking, that's the time we live in now. Like nothing is impossible, but what advice do you have for like newlyweds or people that's going through something in their marriage now? What advice would you give to them to maintain what they have going on?
I would say if you're not getting cheated on and you're not being physically abused or emotionally abused, it's something worth saving.
Okay.
Because I really feel like marriage is a beautiful thing. Knowing that in my sickest of days, in my worst of days, in my brokest of days, I have someone that I can lean on is something that it's nothing you can put a price on. I don't feel like you can. Because, you know, even if you put a price on it, okay, it's something of substance versus something that is higher than that. You know, I just feel like if you are going through the struggles when it comes to it, that is what it is. And I said that earlier. Marriage is work. It's not something where marriage is work. Let me say that again. Marriage is work. If you think you want it, just know you're going into a battle. It's a battle that you're fighting for. You're fighting for your love for this person. You're fighting for this happily ever after. And as I say with my marriage all the time, I'm like, I decided to find forever with you. So I'm always trying to do that. It's ugly. It's not fun. So it's going to be those downtimes where you're like, you know, like I said, I want to take a mommy staycation and do something because you need that. But at the same time, will I ever leave my situation? No.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I'm not downing the woman that's, you know, in her condo with her cats. Do you, boo? But that's just not me.
Yeah.
And if you got yourself halfway in the door and you have that spouse and you're living it, something in you was like, I want to be a part of that. So I think it needs to take a second to step back. Maybe you need that staycation to reevaluate and decide, like, hey, where do I want to be? What do I want to do?
Right.
Because it's something that's really invaluable. It's such an asset that I can't even put words to it. So I just feel like it's something worth fighting for. Get the therapy. Like you said, I love how you said, like, you have someone on standby, like, it's time for us to come in.
Yeah.
You know, like,
literally.
2 times out of the year, that's perfection.
Yeah.
Because it's an ever work in progress.
What'd you say, Brady?
My main thing is like communicate. Like learn how to communicate. First of all, don't just communicate, which means you're going to be screaming at each other. Like, learn the way that communication works best for you guys. And then also, especially with Instagram, TikTok, whatever, all the extra stuff nowadays, you see all these extra lavish stuff. Those people are probably struggling too. You see them take them out on a boat in Fiji, whatever. You're like, oh, my man's not doing that. Let me leave him.
Yeah.
Baby girl, they probably cussed the whole way on the flight to Fiji.
Right.
Just look like that.
Yeah, she said smile now and let's post this photo.
Right.
So like, just know, like, communicate, find out, like, make it work. As long as, like what you said, as long as you're not being hurt and like this is a good person and you're a good person, like, just learn each other. If you got to go to therapy, spend the money. It's worth it, because you're going to go out in these streets and you're going to realize it's not worth it.
Right.
You're going to want to be back with that person and they're going to be on to the next one because you decided you wanted to find flashier and better when what you had just need a little bit of hard work.
Yeah, hard work. I mean, because it's easy to pick up something, but it's harder to keep
it.
something.
Yep.
I love that. Wow.
Y'all hear that? Y'all listening?
Yeah.
So I thank you so much, ladies, for, coming in and sharing, your lives with us, because a lot of people need to hear this and see the successful side of marriage and the ugly side as well. And I commend you guys for coming in for that. Hey everyone, we are taking a quick break to let you know about Skyless Hair Studio, located right here in Tamarack, Florida. So if you're in town and if you know anyone that need any hair services, we specialize in healthy hair care, extensions, cuts, colors, and pretty much everything except for braiding. So reach out to us, Skyless Hair Studios, here in Tamarack, Florida.
I'm gonna get
So we're gonna get into Stretch's Corner.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about Michael B. Jordan. He was on the red carpet the other day, and I don't remember the name of the girl that had the mic, but they used to go to high school together. And she was saying they used to make fun of him because call him corny and all these things.
Yeah.
But now that he's successful, everybody finds him attractive and all these things. And for me personally, like, I could relate a little bit because going to high school, I was that kid that wasn't popular. Like, I was very shy, anxiety, not too friendly, and maybe made fun of too because I didn't have everything that everybody else had. But then after high school, it was like girls would be like, "Hey, how you doing?" Blah, blah. I'm like, "You never used to talk to me in high school."
Oh, you became DJ Stretch.
Yeah, we ain't about to have that conversation now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I feel like he gave her the same type of attitude. Like, remember when you called me corny? We ain't about to talk right now.
Yeah.
So, for me, like I said, I can relate in a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, you say you hold grudges, but I hold them a little longer.
We might be twins.
No, yeah.
I don't forget
I don't
nothing.
forget either.
I'm working on it. I'm in therapy.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, my therapist told me, like,
Let it go.
I let it go, but I never really do. But now I'm learning to.
Yeah.
And I'm more open to, like, forgiving and be like, yo, that was then. We good now. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
But you think back and you're like, damn, for 4 or 5 years of my life, y'all made fun of me every day.
Yeah.
And now, like, none of y'all.
Yeah. Have you guys ever been in any situation like that? Where I know you.
She's like, excuse.
She already said
Excuse.
Wait, what?
Wait, were you the mean girl? You were the mean
Yeah, she
girl.
was the popular
today.
girl. The popular girl in high school. That was going on.
I was the mean girl. I'm not even gonna lie. No, I was nice, but I also had that, like, catch me outside.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I don't know. No, I don't have any memories of high school or college or anything like that where it was like, remnants of anything like that. But when it comes to the Michael B. Jordan, I feel like he handled it well. I would have did the same thing. Like,
Now it is worse.
I'm corny, right?
What you gotta say?
No.
Like,
I would take the mic and be like, corny. Bye.
or I'm not even taking the, like, interview. Like, I don't even want to talk to you.
Yeah.
But, later on, it was more information provided that it wasn't even that person that said it. It was someone else that said it.
Mm-hmm.
So, he shot the wrong person.
Still.
She got
Oh, was it her?
No, but remember, she said he's not corny anymore. That
Yeah,
you
she
gotta
did
agree
say
with
that.
that.
But she didn't initiate the conflict.
Right.
Oh,
She
okay.
just kind of jumped on the segue and like,
You
Okay.
still getting these shots.
So
He's like, whatever it is, it's done.
He deserved a little bit of that,
Nah, you
but
get
not
shot.
completely.
Not completely. He
Okay.
sized her up. I was like,
Like, if I'm talking about
damn.
Shan and you agreed, if I said Shan is corny and you agree, you're accomplished.
Yeah, you're in this now.
But you know what? The thing is, like, he's probably on the defense because he's probably dealing with a lot of flack from
Lori, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that too.
So, I mean, like, he was buddies with the dude that she's with now. Like, there's pictures of them together, him and that dude.
True, yeah.
And now all of a sudden, your boy that you was pictured with, because y'all both up and coming like actors, is with your girl. So, he's probably got a little chip on his shoulder, which is fine.
She's
Black
savage
man,
for that,
I feel you.
I don't like that.
No, I didn't know that.
I'm not mad at her. I'm not really mad at Lori because, I mean, it's just the fact that she's in the public eye.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
if you would have followed maybe you around or me around when we were in that age group.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows what people
No,
would
it's not that many. If you think about how many Loris, that we know about, it was like 2 last year, or like 2.
Like guys that you dated?
Yeah, it was like 2.
Damn, like,
How many is she supposed to be with? She trying to find forever. How's she supposed to find
She's
forever?
in her 20s.
She's
That's
in
what I'm
her
saying. So
20s.
that's what I said. If you follow us 3 women around in our
Yeah.
20s, the age group she's in, you know,
Yeah.
before you got married.
Yeah.
I got married before you. You know, what was that like?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
She just picks the best. It's not her fault she chooses the best.
Behind the scenes, like, she pick it out.
It's not her fault because she's in that era.
She's the
Yeah.
best. She wants the best,
You know what I'm
and
saying?
just
like I feel like when I was like South Beach, like that was my spot.
See?
Like
Yeah.
of course you're dating the people that you go on the beach and you go and see.
Yeah.
Oh, I seen them last weekend. Of course you're gonna end up in that.
Yeah.
group. She just happens to be in that.
I think some men really don't think, because if I see you do that to 4 men or 5 men or even 3 men, I'm not trying to join that. Like, I'm
Nah,
But
you
they want to
are.
say they've
You
been
are.
no, because
You
they want to say they've
my
been
ego
with
not
that.
gonna let me do that.
Nah, you are.
He got a big ego though, so.
But a lot of
No.
but that's the same. Maybe you're not you, but other men
Some
are
other
doing
men
it.
will.
That's what
yeah.
Just like other women would do it because it's like I can change you.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's like, he ain't doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And a woman's like, she's not loving on him like I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or to even be like, oh, I've been to Lori Harvey,
Right.
or
Yeah.
I've been to Michael B. Like, it's just to be like, oh, well, now I can get with them and tame, status and like taming them. So it's a little bit of both. To be like, look, I'm gonna be the one that stays, and then you're not, and you're like, oh, well.
What about the situation we're talking about with Michael B. Jordan? Have you experienced that in any way?
Not for me. I mean, I was always like I'm an in-between girl. I was with the not so in crowd. But I was also friends with like the upper crowd.
Mm-hmm.
I went to a charter school. There's only like 400 of us total.
You know everybody by first and last name.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, I went to a private school too. I'm a private school brat.
Yeah.
I knew everyone. I went to the same school since kindergarten.
Yeah, since kindergarten. So I'm like, I know you.
Disclaimer.
You can be who you want to be, but like we all kind of knew each other. So, and then I had older brothers, so I wasn't even allowed to date because they would look at me and I looked like my brother, so they'd be like, "Oh, you're Carl's sister, I gotta go," and I'm like, "Bet," but for me, I mean, I feel like if someone were to be treating me like trash, I guess when I was like maybe not as cute, going through some braces, then and if I came up. I'm a little petty. I'm not gonna treat you rude. I'm gonna like don't try to come in any type of way.
Yeah.
She knows me. I'm gonna be rude.
Oh no.
You're gonna know that you messed up back in the day. Like you gonna know.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
I'm just leave you in the corner. Just don't try to come any closer. I'm gonna be like, same place you wanted to be before. That's where you are now.
Yeah.
I had similar experiences just in middle school when I moved here. There were just some mean girls in middle school, and I was asthmatic, and I remember I would get so sick and skinny, and they would call me the craziest names. I'm not gonna say it because we ain't going that far back, but them same girls, let me just say, they don't really got much going on. I can agree with him and how he felt because, you know, I kind of was there and I hate bullies so much. And I always tell my daughter that all the time, be kind to everybody because you never know where people are going to end up and if you're going to need them one day later on in the future. So, yeah.
Let's get to the quote of the day.
Yeah, let's get to the quote of the day. A successful marriage requires falling in love many times, always with the same person.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I have no comments on that because I'm not married.
Yeah.
I agree with that. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Yeah.
Because absolutely, like, we'll go through moments of it's just like, oh my God, I could just like eat you alive.
Yeah.
And then I go through moments of like, oh my God, I'm about to leave.
Suffocate you with the pillow.
Yeah. Like, let's lay down together so I can get this pillow.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I agree with that. You have to. And it's fun.
Yeah.
Because you fall in love with different parts of that person.
Yeah.
And for us, oh my God, we got together when I was in my 20s, and now I'm not even gonna say it. But the point is
I
that,
could
you know,
calculate.
as women and as men, you know, we change a lot, and that's why I was just like kind of disagreeing with you earlier, because it's like, you know, at the beginning, yeah, you feel like, oh, men know. But it changes.
Yeah, it changes.
You know, I'm not saying men are the main reason for divorce rates, but it just changes. So you have to fall in love with this new version of this person all the time. Like every 4 years, like you can Google this and look this up. Like every 4 years, you kind of change.
Yeah.
So would you say that, like, if you meet each other young, you know, you're getting older and older and you're having new experiences, and now you're becoming who you really are. Because in your 20s, you're this wild boy. Let's say you meet this wild boy, right?
Yeah.
And then as he gets older in his 30s now he's the guy that's just chill. Now, do you still love that person, that chill person? Because remember, you fell in love with the wild guy. Do you still love this chill person now that he's matured and not into that wild stuff anymore? And now you have to fall in love with a whole nother person because he's not wild anymore.
Yeah.
Now he's the guy that stays home and don't want to go to parties. Now he's the guy that, you know, he wants to have animals and he wants to just chill. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, that can cause problems, but then, like you said, you have to learn to fall in love with a different version of that
You
person.
have to fall in love, because the thing is, you're still the basis of you, the things that matter. Like you going out is not what matters about you as a person, right?
The core values.
You know, the core values of you is what matters. So if those things don't change dramatically, then I'm still in love with you, and I don't have to fall in love with this homebody.
Yeah.
And it has to be vice versa. Like, okay, maybe you're a homebody now.
Right.
I'm not. So you have to still give me my space to have my girl nights and maybe go out and, you know, enjoy myself. So it's always respecting and learning one another. I would say that. I feel like that is major. Respecting, loving, communicating.
Yeah.
If you can do those three things over and over, falling in love again and continually respecting this new person and communicating those new changes within yourself to that person and accepting what they change and what they bring to the table, you have a good foundation for the long haul.
I love that.
Okay, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, for me, we're still going through like changes, because we met when we were 18 and now I'm 29. So there's been like new versions of each other as it progresses. And so for us, some of that has required like even therapy to be like, oh my God, they weren't like this before. But it's like, she's like, the core values are the same. There's still, what brought us together is still the same. If you fall in love with the fact that you guys are able to go party every weekend, you're going to end up in a divorce because now someone's tired and wants to be at home.
Yeah.
But if you're like, you know, I wanted to build this family together, this was our vision, this is our dream, our visions are still the same, then even though you might be changing a little bit, you can learn to work with it. You can learn, okay, maybe they don't like to, like to party anymore. Maybe they don't like to do whatever these things that we used to do anymore. But hey, they're still the same person that I fell in love with.
Yeah. So like overall, I think it's just like embrace that change with each other and continuously love each other.
Depending on the change, though.
Yeah, as long as it's core. If he starts doing drugs and doing shots every night,
then that's a problem. But as long as it's a healthy change.
Healthy changes.
And single people should not chase marriage.
Yeah.
They should not change it. You know, you should not chase it. You should not be out here like, just chill out.
Just chill
Let it come to you.
Find your person. Don't be like, ooh, I'm 28. All right, you're the closest person. Let's do this.
I've done all the things. Like, don't chase the marriage, don't chase the babies. All those things that come when your mind is not there.
There.
Once your mind is on it, like God is like, you're not ready. Once you like chill out, the babies come, the marriage comes, all the finances come. Just do the work. Just do the work and just stay focused.
Work on yourself. That's very important.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Do the work. And everything will fall into place.
I love that. Okay. All right, Stretch, take us out.
I want to say one more thank you guys for coming through. We're a very new podcast, so it was for our first season, it was difficult finding guests, so I want to appreciate you guys for coming and sharing all that information. This is what we're about, learning and unlearning. I've learned some today, and I'm sure our guests have also. So this is the end of our episode. I want everybody to please share with your friends, share with a family, share with somebody. Your kids can watch too, because like I said, we're trying to keep it PG. And also subscribe, put your notifications on for when we drop the next episode. Leave comments and join the conversation on Instagram, on YouTube. We have Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So we'll see you guys again next week for another episode of the Student to Life podcast.
Later, guys. Bye.